Hey everybody, it's Sean and Trey with Reactions to the Classics. Before we get started today, we just wanted to invite you to take a look at our Patreon page where we have all kinds of reward tiers, anywhere from reacting to an entire album to songs, and to support us for as little as $1 a month. It really helps us out.
And you can also check out our Facebook and Discord groups down below. Got a great community of people who love music. And all that to say, y'all, let's get to today's video. What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined again by my dad, Sean. And today, Reactions to the Classics, we're going back to a familiar friend. It's here at the channel, Bob Dylan, looking at his late 80s record, Oh Mercy. This comes courtesy of our patron, Sean. Thank you, Sean, as always,
Sean.
Man, our resident Dylan fan here at the channel, and we're always up for that, and especially different time periods. We haven't done any from this time period, really, of Bob, so this was fun to dive in. I didn't know any of the tunes.
I didn't either.
And so before we get into the track-by-track review, let's just look at the quick facts here and see who Bob recruited for this record.
Well, yeah, it's his 26th studio album, released in September of 1989. Produced by Daniel Lanois. Daniel's done a ton of things, most famously probably with U2, which the story here is Bono was talking to Dylan. He actually got Daniel on the phone. Daniel and Dylan started talking, and Daniel said, hey, come on down to Louisiana. They did, and this thing was born of it. It was very well received, went to number 30 in the US, number 6 in the UK. The critics loved it. It followed up a string of albums that they didn't love so much. The photo on the cover shows a mural that Dylan came across on the wall of a Chinese restaurant in Manhattan's famous Hell's Kitchen, and the songs were written mainly in a painting room that he arranged in his house in Malibu. It was number 44 on the Rolling Stone list of the 100 greatest albums of the 80s, so I mean that's a pretty astute list to be on as well.
Yeah, exactly. And before we get into it, you can really, with Lanois on here, we've done Achtung Baby, we've done, you know, the Joshua Tree, and you can definitely kind of tell there's that Lanois flavor on a lot of these songs.
Yeah, definitely different. As you said, we haven't listened to anything since, what, 83 maybe in this catalog, so, you know, 6 years have passed, and several albums being the route that Mr. Zimmerman put out albums, but yeah, definitely a different sound. And
we're going to start this with Political World. And Bob said that this was kind of a sequel or a continuation of his 1964 song With God on Our Side, which we're actually both familiar with. And it really reaffirms his lack of conviction in politics as a whole. And going musically, the opening kind of felt like the opening to a Western or whatnot.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed kind of, it was more of a rocker. And
yeah, driving guitars and drums kind of propel the song along.
Oh, absolutely. So I appreciated that. Good, energetic opener here, and Bob had some great stuff to say. One line that I particularly enjoyed: you can travel anywhere and hang yourself there. You always got more than enough rope. I think anywhere you go, the politics just kind of soaks into every realm of society, no matter your language or region or country. Yeah. So I thought he had some interesting stuff to say.
Yeah, 11 verses in this bad boy, and every single verse starts with, we live in a political world. So yeah, I thought the performance is fine, but I thought the lyrics are outstanding. So they're kind of the stars here. And that's going to take us to Where Teardrops Fall. Only 2.5 minutes long, so it makes that odd for a Dylan song. Very stripped back. Guitars add a little country tone. Then a brass instrument comes out of nowhere at the end.
Yeah, you have a nice sense of like constant reverb. Kind of makes you feel a little weightless at times.
That's good.
And yeah, that John Hart sax solo at the end I thought was...
This comes out of nowhere, man. I thought this was a really good tune.
Yeah, just fantastic. A definite stark contrast to the opening tune, Political World here, but I thought they were a good little 1-2 punch here to intro us into what Dylan had in store, and then that'll take us to track number 3.
Everything is broken. The lyrics describe Dylan's detachment from his world at the time of its write. Basically lists out how everything is broken. Trey, This is one of my least favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah, it felt
It's not bad.
No, but it felt a little bit more, just kind of to the side here. It was fun having Bob on the harmonica, whatnot.
Yeah, the harmonica pops up at different times on here, even in 1989.
Yeah, and I thought he made a good use of the broken type of structure in here, and that kind of motif coming back to that constantly. But I'm with you, not a favorite. But then we go on to track number 4. We got Ring Them Bells, and this is one of my favorite tunes on this record. Actually, I thought it was beautiful. We have a lot of religious imagery here. St. Peter, we have the 4 winds, a bit of apocalyptic at times, and schmas in here. Just everything lyrically and musically was blended together in a way that was excellent.
Yeah, I'll just echo what you said. Stripped back, nice piano.
Sweet vocals on here too.
Very good vocal performance. Dylan really hits his stride towards the middle of this album on vocals. Sounds better than I've heard him sound in a while. That takes us to Man in the Long Black Coat. Daniel said it was one of his favorites that they did, and they did it all in one take. Contains some prominent use of apocalyptic imagery, evoking a place where, quote, the water is high and the tree trunks are uprooted. Dylan wrote in some kind of weird way, I thought of it as my I Walk the Line, a song I'd always consider to be up there at the top, one of the most mysterious and revolutionary of all time. I like this, Trey. The intro is great, kind of sets the mood for it. Great
Reminded
guitar.
me of Political World with that long intro.
Yeah, exactly. Great guitar. Just sets the mood.
Yeah, it really kind of gave an outlaw feel to it, just like kind of Cash. Apocalyptic imagery kind of evoked some coolness, some mystery,
Yeah.
an aura of...
A little haunting with the instrumentation, yeah.
That you were just kind of wondering, who is this man in the long black coat? So I thought it was a fantastic way to end the record. Again, one of my favorites here, and then that's going to transition us into the start of the B-side.
Yeah, most of the time, and I'll tell you what, between the last track, this one, and the next one, he goes on this 3-song track for me that is the best I've heard him in the last several albums that we have listened to. And the lyrics on this are really cool because he's insisting really that he's fine. This girl's left him, the relationship's broken, but then he kind of slips in there all the time, most of the time. So you know he's really not fine. He's just trying to, most of us in life, we live on enough, have been through these broken relationships, and you kind of try to take your mind off of it, right? But then, it just hits you like a truck when you're not expecting it. I thought this song, better than any on this album, the lyricism and the music just went perfectly together, and he sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and the Lanois touch here is, I think, more felt than ever. It has a unique sound in that it does sound modern, yet it's still firmly in the 80s soundscape.
Yeah.
So I was definitely impressed with that. And yeah, just the topic where you can definitely tell as the listener this guy hasn't moved on, even though he says that he has. I just think it's very clever, and just again, as you mentioned, these last 3 songs here have just been a wonderful trio of songs, and then that's gonna keep us moving on with What Good Am I? Bit of a slower tempo song that doesn't quite reach the level of Ring Them Bells, but it still has a heartfelt delivery that the listener believes in. A lot of self-doubt exudes each verse. Solid tune.
Acoustic driven, very good vocal. He's basically asking that question. All of us ask it at some point in our lives, what good am I? Very introspective. The piano is pretty good in there too. He just keeps asking the title of the song. I thought this was excellent as well. I think it sounds like I like it more than you do. I know you like it, but I like it more. I think it just continues to just rise up in this album. And that takes us to a disease that I know a lot of people in my life that I've come across
Ain't that the truth?
Are suffering from, and that is the disease of conceit. And he breaks stuff out in here. Just what a Dylan-esque way to put it.
Oh yeah,
that guy's arrogant.
Very poetic.
No, he's got a disease of conceit. I think I'm going to start using this with you as a code where when we come across him, I'd be like, he's got the disease.
Hey, this guy, the old saying, pride cometh before the fall. Dylan ironically sounds confident as he's delivering these lines, which I thought was great. A lot of power in the voice here. I enjoyed this tune. I think this B-side is especially quite strong.
Yeah, this one's almost spoken in a lot of parts, kind of between singing and speaking. He has one, they bury you from your head to your feet with the disease of conceit. For me, that was the line of the whole album, because
that's a good one, man.
They bury you from head to feet in the disease. Once you start thinking you're all that, and everybody starts praising you and showering you with all these compliments, it's the quick road to your downfall because you don't listen to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I also got to shout out Mason Ruffner's bluesy guitar outro, which was also a highlight, I think, instrumentally on this entire record. And then now we're going to go to What Was It You Wanted? And here Bob kind of, he says this phrase.
It's kind of funny, man.
About a billion times. It's almost where he's breaking the fourth wall here with the listener, because he says, like in one of the earlier verses, he's gonna be right back.
Yeah.
And then once the next verse starts, he says, "All right, I'm back." It's almost like he's really speaking directly one-on-one to you as the listener. I thought it was a very cheeky, clever song because of that, and kind of stands out as a unique song, I think, in Dylan's discography.
Yeah. What was it you wanted? That's what he just kept. I loved it, man. Yeah, I thought it's very unique. That takes us to the final track, Shooting Star.
And here there's an interpretation that I think actually has some validity. It kind of starts with the first verse describing Jesus coming to earth.
Yeah.
Then he describes himself as living in this world, getting ready as the apocalypse is going to come. We had, a couple different songs that alluded to the apocalypse a little bit here, but this one's going full bore. And then Jesus comes back. He takes him up. He mentions, there's not going to be any more time to hear the Sermon on the Mount and whatnot, and eventually Bob does not get taken, unfortunately, and then he's just forced to be on the earth, knowing that there is no hope for redemption. So,
cheery way to end this bad boy out, right?
For an album that really wasn't somber in very many points, it ends on a heavy note.
It really does. I mean, you described the song perfectly. Once you know that's what it's about, if that is indeed what it's about, when you read the lyrics and hear it, you can hear it from that kind of viewpoint, and it makes sense to you. That's going to take us to our favorite tracks.
Yeah, for me, Ring Them Bells is up there. I like The Man in the Long Black Coat, as well as Most of the Time.
I like those three, and I will also add in What Good Am I? So 4 of the 10 songs for me listed up there as favorite track. So that's going to take us to our overall grade. This is my favorite album of his we've done in a long time, probably since Blood on the Track. So 10 songs. I don't think any of them are filler. I think 4 of them are outstanding. 2 of them are really good. So I'm going to go with an 8.0 on this.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be right there with you. I thought it was a great record. I'm at an 8 out of 10. I think Bob definitely rebounded from some of the records that we've heard.
Not that those were bad.
No, not at all. But
this has raised the level.
This was definitely up there. I really enjoyed it, and shout out to Sean for suggesting it. Sean. Man, I always love to delve more and more into Dylan's discography, and let us know what you guys think of this record down in the comments below. As always, Dad, appreciate
That's a lot of fun, man.
all the research. Appreciate you, Sean, and all the patrons that help keep this channel up and running, and let us know which other Dylan records we should be looking at in the future.
We got a lot of them to choose from, baby.
And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. We upload every day in a variety of genres. And until next time, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.